If you want to drink coffee, take coffee with you. Take your cookies. We'll have them. We'll have then after that more time for communicating, for socializing here. But we are obliged to start because we are restricted them. In our second panel discussion, and I should explain in what way panelists are here. The project itself, the final stage of this effort, a fair of projects, of business and public associations of entrepreneurs who are members of National Platform of SME. It's very important to underscore because uh, projects will be presented by members of National Platform SME. Today's presenters have become winners. As Anna Strikun said, on the whole, within the scope of FAIR, 26 concepts, applications of different projects have been submitted. Out of these 26, 10 best projects were selected to be presented. A commission of experts selected these 10 projects. These projects to be presented here were recognized as the best. But I would like to reiterate on the screen in front of you, you can see QR code. By scanning it, you can have a link to the website where you can find all 26 projects with descriptions and concepts. 10 of them we are to present here. Now, as for the panelists, if you want, we may name it a kind of a pitch, as in business. Pitch of business ideas very popular in business. There will be a pitch of such project ideas. For pitch, it's rather typical that very concise time is given to present your ideas. We have very concise time for each for each idea, for each initiative. We have tentatively 5 minutes. So you are to have 5 minutes to convince participants that particularly your project, your idea are quite interesting, are quite future looking. Their perspective, they will provide good results, and you need to describe what are results for donors to see, whether it's the program of international assistance or donors. In 5 minutes, during these 5 minutes, you need to convince that this idea to be funded fully. And accordingly, we'll have, as I said, 10 projects are to be presented. This is the project from Association of Private Employees, from for business association, from Vinnytsia Business Club, a project from National Organization of Retail Trade, Business Mentor Consultant, excuse me, that's the National Organization of Retail Trade. This Kreminska Business Association. It's also Interregional Union of Poultry Breeders and Fodder Producers, Institute of Business Education, Union of Entrepreneurs Tina, and All Ukrainian Professional Association of Entrepreneurs. 10 projects. Actually, we have an hour for presentations. Tentatively, you have 5 minutes each. And then some time for some remarks, some questions. So now, actually, you have an opportunity to sell your projects. You should use these 5 minutes most efficiently to convince potential donors that your initiative in this project is worthy to be supported. And as was said, Associate of Private Employees, Alexander Chumak, you have the first floor. You have the presentation, but you have the time schedule as well. It's just to put it in 5 minutes. That's difficult. Thank you for this opportunity to present our project. Our project is to support resilience, that to recover the economy on 24th. The 24th of February happened unexpectedly. We evacuated our office, and then 6 months subsequently we were just making efforts to provide for the resilience of our regions, for our defenders to protect against this aggression. And 6 months we started to return to economic activities. We have established two volunteer initiatives functioning. So in March we started our business activities. First, what we made the surveys among the members of our association. Since then, we regularly measure the needs of business. The main objective of the project to create conditions for the recovery of the economy of local communities, in particular entrepreneurship efforts in these communities. The task of the problems, as project is a comprehensive one, will follow several directions. The first direction, to provide immediate assistance to entrepreneurs, to business, those who would like to return to recover their activities or start their activities in Kharkiv Oblast. And then second, to create comfortable economic environment, business environment to operate in the region in Ukraine, changes in local regulations or the national legislation for the business to operate comfortably. Third direction, to the recovery of operation of local programs which are not functioning at present. And the fourth area, the recovery of the platforms providing support to businessmen. This is the business associations, business alliances providing professional assistance, because as of September 2022, there were no such platforms functioning. Then the fifth, they were relocated and have the need and recovery of returning to the region, and also attracting funds. Also, a preparation of other things matters. Particular attention we provide to the IDPs, because we have 461 IDPs. We're the country of veterans. Then we pay particular attention to veterans, pay attention to women. Expected short-term results. The basic one is specified. We have the support from two donors at present. Our goal, to widen this support as a pyramid, to widen the basis by involving more donors. We provide consultations. In near future, we'll start the groups for training, and they were to help businessmen develop business applications for funding initiatives. Ukrainian Veterans Fund, out of 3 programs that support one project, was supported by us, a very good project. A veteran received 1 million hryvnias for training dogs involved in demanding activities. Next, long-term results, just increase in the taxes to local budgets. Development of entrepreneurship program and the recovery of the regional entrepreneurs council. Our group consists of 13 experts which have the experience of working with IDPs and veterans since 2015. The overall number of experts, 25 individuals, who have experience in business activities. And we see this project as regular for coming 3 years. the amount of the funding for project for recovery activities. It's about 1.8 million hryvnias. Presently, one-third of this amount has been already involved. Our partners, that's the interregional poultry and fodder producers. So we also made evaluation of the economic conditions and business climate in the region. We had the focus groups and in particular representatives of local. We know about the needs and what should be resolved. We will suggest proposal on development entrepreneurial climate. One of the communities addressed us to help them to make changes to the strategy that they have developed earlier. Basic risks. We invite donors who have not been active in our region to make entry into our region. Your budgets will be used in a targeted way within the scope of your program priorities. It's safe for you. We are ready. You have us. We will represent you. Come with your money into our region. Thank you. Thank you. Our results very briefly. We are the first who opened in Ukraine the hotline on providing assistance to businesses in evaluating losses of the damaged assets. We were the first through advocacy to recover access of business to state grant program. Together with partners, the law 7636 were passed into law. Thank you.
Thanks, Alexander. And our next presenter will speak on behalf of BA for Business NGO. The floor goes to Alexander Dmitrenko. Hello, I'm Alexander Dmitrenko. I'm glad to be here at this event, and it's my pleasure to inform you about our project. But first, some information about our NGO. In the March of this year, we renamed ourselves, and now we are called BA for Business. We do advocacy campaigns, we provide services to businesses, and we organize different events, including training events. As for our services in 2022, we give consultations to 22 micro enterprises, and 16 of them received grants of 4.5 thousand euro. This year we were giving consultancy services to the small businesses, now waiting the tranche of 14,000. Now about the project. Its purpose is to foster business in Sumy region by helping them in certification and standardization to ensure relevant compliance of their processes and products. The new standards are to be introduced at least 25 enterprises. To do that, we need to analyze the entire chain of standardization certification to identify potential corruption-related risks. We are also going to advance the qualifications of the representatives of these enterprises, particularly those who are in charge of standardization and certification. We also want to make business leaders and directors more motivated, and we intend to ensure continuity and sustainability of the project by improving the organizational capacity of the association and providing more support and compensations to the businesses of the region. Who are the stakeholders of our project? Entrepreneurs, those who work for some region SMEs and who are interested in boosting their activities. Principal attention in the project will be given to quality assurance and management systems, particularly in respect of food products. Not the fish, but the fishing pole, as someone said today. We also see much interest from the local authorities. Certainly, they should be interested because strong SMEs are a warranty for sustainable economic development of the region. Moreover, not only the region will develop, but the population of the region will also benefit from the new products and services. And another stakeholder of the project is our NGO, because it will get more clients and will disseminate more information about standardization and certification. By the way, I learned from the relevant officials that they support. So 25 enterprises will receive the standardization and certification systems, will teach 25 representatives of SMEs in charge of certification and standardization at their enterprises. 5 businesses will receive advice regarding their strategies. We'll do anti-corruption analysis and expertise, and we'll also organize a roundtable with the local authorities in order to scale our project and to make it more sustainable. This is our team. All of them are proper experts, all of them are young and qualified. The project will be implemented in 7 months. 1 for preparation, 6 for implementation per se. This is the budget. 13,000 is what we provide, and the rest is what we hope to get. And here are the project's partners: the National Platform, SUME Coalition of the National Platform, SUME Metrology and Standard Authority, and SUME City Council. Thank you. This was the presentation of NGO BA for Business from SUME region. Our next presenter is from Vinnytsia. The name of the NGO is Vinnytsia Business Club. Alexander is going to present instead of Volodymyr. 5 minutes. Thanks, it's my pleasure to see everybody. I am from Vinnytsia region, and let me tell you about the NGO whose director happens to be abroad on a duty trip right now. Vinnytsia Business Club NGO unites enterprises that account for 86% of tax returns. These are big businesses mostly. Here's the aim of our project. The challenge of the NGO is that together with ST9, with the help of CIPE, it created a relocation hub in Vinnytsia region. Our region is the real leader with regard to relocation. 178,000 relocated individuals are now working there, and 278 businesses is how many businesses our community became stronger. Vadim Shiyan, by the way, is also one member of the relocation hub. 4,500 people were officially registered for employment, and out of this number, something like 500 remain on the list and are still looking for jobs. The 30 enterprises that are members of our business club can provide jobs to 300 people, although on condition of retraining. Vinnytsia Business Club fruitfully cooperates with our vocational training schools and with the University of Trade and Economics. They've got some joint curricula. They had developed for a retraining of drivers, timber processors, metal workers, and other specialties. Relevant talks have been conducted with the Vinnytsia vocational training schools, and they are ready to develop 2-month courses to provide initial training in some occupations. The first step of the project is to develop the list of occupations that businesses need, as well as the list of enterprises that are willing to employ IDPs. And the second stage of the project implies retraining, while at the third stage, interviews will be held, and if successful, and the successful candidates will receive jobs. One of the outputs is the database with the list of relocated persons. 60 individuals will be retrained, and I know that additionally something like 130 or 100 or over 140 people will get jobs without retraining. The project is headed by Volodymyr Mereshko, a person of much experience. He headed the Department of Economy and International Cooperation of the Vinnytsia Regional Administration. He's a very good manager. The project will be implemented within 60 minutes, and the budget is 720,000. That's it. Thank you. Thank you.
Please hand over the remote controller. The next presentation is to be made by the National Organization of the Retail Trade, Maxim Sabernikov. You have the floor. And please put the presentation on the screen. Greetings to all. My name is Maxim Sabernikov. Today I present to you a new project together with the National Organization of the Retail Trade. We have prepared this project and named it Scaling of Business in Retail Trade from a trading outlet to a shop, from a shop to a trading chain. And the targeted audience entrepreneurs of micro and small businesses, particular in the areas just affected by the war. And now businessmen need assistance there to recover this business. The objective of this project is focused around these issues. That is to provide practical help in increasing the circulation of funds in these outlets, irrespective whether these trading outlets in small towns or in big cities. We will help also develop online commerce. At the first stage, we plan to select a group of businessmen motivated to increase the volume of their business. A selected group of businessmen in the number of 20 to be trained practically, not by theory but by practice, to have practical consultations provided to them to help them with their operations, how to work with marketing, that is to enhance their operations in different spheres. Based on the previous experience, I may say that it's quite realistic in 2-3 months to enhance skills and double the revenues. Also, to plan to carry out 20 individual consultations. We plan as well to inform the targeted audience and the general public about the accomplishments under this project. Expected results to enhance the revenues of businessmen, to create new jobs. These enterprises, more taxes paid to the budget, and we will develop these arteries to help not only these particular enterprises but to recover the economy across regions of Ukraine. Maxim Sabelnikov, it's my business mentor, and I'm coach consultant. I have 10 years experience of providing consultations to businessmen. My previous experience, I worked in big retail companies. And recent years, I helped middle and small-sized businesses to increase their proceeds. And Hanna Strikun has all relevant competencies too. We plan to implement the project in 5 minutes. The first month is to have the preparatory stage, and then subsequent months will be implementing activities to recover the businesses of our participants. In the final month, a follow-up period to analyze accomplishments. The amount for funding is not big, and I think it's not a cost. It's an investment. As well, it will be an important contribution in enhancing our economy. Because Ukraine is good, everything will be good in here in Ukraine, and everything will be Ukraine. Thank you. I will remind it was a project under the auspices of the National Organization of Retail Trade. As it is convenient for you, please. Uh, I greet you. I am the head of the project of an NGO, Kreminska Business Association. Pavlo Fedik, my name is coordinator of the project coordinator, the name of which you can read on this slide. The name Business in the Occupied Territories in the east of Ukraine and recovery cooperation between the authorities, communities. I would like to thank that we have gathered. I would like to thank sincerely partners, and it was very pleasant to hear some presentations. But I was just thinking just to vote for the projects presented. I hope that the national platform will take this wish into account and will have next time, because I hope the next times there will be as well, and affairs won't stop being conducted, and we will be able to choose projects ourselves participating in such events. I would like to thank the International Center of Private Enterprise and the National Platform of Small and Medium-Sized Enterprise and its team, which who made such a lot of efforts to run it. We would like also to thank donors staying here and who are participating as potential buyers of this project. I've been thinking how using only the presentation to draw the attention to bring to the attention of donors and buyers we offer our projects. First and foremost, I would like to let's think in what situation we're thinking to recover business in the occupied territories in the East Ukraine. This indicator was already said at least 400 opportunities. And that business, 40% of them do not know about this. But when you communicate and have the results of the survey, probably it's not a very in-depth survey. We are being convinced while reading this indicator that business is afraid to take resources. They are not ready, and they should be guided. And it was said that previously that they should be helped. We know that the fall in the income and the fall in the employment is quite important. We have put a task to us, and it's Kreminska Business Innovation to study these matters. Why? Because we have many programs. It was said by donors. It's very important to understand the KPI, which will show to what extent we cooperate efficiently. It was a pleasure for me to see my colleague, Mr. Sabelnikov, who indicated about the need in the increase of the revenues. The most important, and also we may plan revenues to the budget. We'll start that we need to think. Today, this idea was already said by the representative of the Ukrainian Veterans Fund to guide them to decrease through the outsourcing. And Kreminska Business Association was doing that yet before this start of war on the 24th of February. The goal to create conditions for the development of local business in the deoccupied territories in the east of Ukraine, and to develop cooperation between local authorities, business, and NGOs. And there should be a triangle which should be just widened. Not only authorities, business, or NGOs, but these are civil societal institutions. It's a square already. Just in the business, we may single out donors and investors, which will be already in the big. If we want to support this, understand that so the triangle might have the square have more resilience. There, the development is demonstrated by a circle. We would like to build such a network that would allow to provide for this resilience of business in critical circumstances, so we could ensure development, and we could one of the hypotheses which we consider in our study, to what extent the liberated communities and their administrations ready for their recovery, for the return of Ukraine to the occupied territories. The goal of the project to facilitate local business, to facilitate cooperation, and the objectives of the projects. We carry out a study. We carry out relevant talks with local authorities. We publish these results of this study, and we will promulgate it. We create a memorandum, and accordingly we disseminate this information to a wider audience, 4 regions, 4 areas of importance, starting from Stavria, Zaporizhia, also Chernigiv, Severshina, Lugansk, and Donetsk, which will be for sure liberated. Goals of the project, results of the project. My time has expired. The team of the project, we have this. So if FADIC is not capable, that any other person could act is in his stat. The project for 12 months, relevant amounts. So there's also good as lease for utilities, communication costs, but the contribution is more from us because our coaches are already working. Partners of the project, it's oblast administrations. But we have good experience of partnership because Kreminska administration had 18 centers support in Luhansk Oblast. When in regional we had at level we had 26 partners. I think we'll be able to widen this cooperation. And finally, there is a traditional call to say to glory to Ukraine and glory to our warriors and glory to our forces and to the. But today I would like to say that when we say glory to Ukraine, glory to the national platform of the SME.
This was Pavlo Fedik from Kreminska Business Association. And our next speaker is to remedy the gender disbalance you observe on the podium. The floor goes to Olena Yeremenko, chairman of the board of Porada Business Union NGO. Olena, you have 5 minutes. Good afternoon, dear participants. Thanks very much for this chance to present our ideas. Why this jingle line of our project? Because this was the decision of the businesses themselves, and they are our principal value. Our association has been self-financed by membership fees for 10 years, and we are very much proud of it. Even during the war, businesses continue their funding, and they even increased it because we lost some of our members at the occupied territory. It is Zaporizhia region which is the second on the list in terms of the area of occupied territories. Only the city of Zaporizhia and the adjacent districts have not been occupied. Zaporizhia is not a hub for IDPs. We're a transit city. People come to our city and leave our city, and the same may be said about good businesses because they are welcomed in other parts of Ukraine. Our businesses have experienced everything that could be experienced. Registers have been blocked, international accounts have been blocked, as well as settlements with banks. We are not getting loans or credits without any sound grounds. So for us, the business people are the real heroes of the economic front. Our task, therefore, is to endure and to preserve our businesses by making the population understand that when they buy a good or a service from a local producer or provider, they do something and contribute towards improvements in the well-being of the community. We plan within 2 years to develop the understanding of this value by means of a large-scale marketing campaign and by making an online platform that will bring together representatives of local businesses. And all customers will have an opportunity to learn about them. Thus, the returns to the budget will increase, production will grow, the number of officially registered businesses will also go up, as well as the number of the members of our business association. We are going to monitor relevant indicators throughout the project. This is our team. Every team member has substantial experience in one of the spheres of the project. The time frame of the project is 2 years, but we hope it will become continuous. And hopefully within 1 year, we'll manage to go out of the boundaries of the city of Zaporizhia, because we do hope that the pre-war borders will return. 4.2 million hryvnias is the budget. We need to raise 2.6 million. Our own contribution is 1.5 million plus what the Zaporizhia City Council will provide. Here are our partners. And let me also add that we've got very much experience. We have done a lot already, but that was the history of development. Presently, it's a history of endurement in order to secure development in the future. We are willing to implement the project on our own, but we'll be very grateful for any assistance. Thank you. Thank you. Let's give a hand of applause to all those who took the floor. Let's support this way, because presentations in PowerPoint are not as powerful as the word of mouth. Our next presentation is by Vadim Shiyan, a chairman of the board of the Interregional Union of Poultry Breeders and Fodder Producers of Ukraine. Our project rests upon the experience of similar projects in Kharkiv region, supported by Yednanya, UNDP, and FAO. So we did not invent this project. We decided to enhance what we were doing before. The main idea is food security for those who were affected by the Russian aggression in Kharkiv and Sumy region by means of development and support of poultry production. Our tasks are large scale communication on cooperation of local businesses with local authorities, a system of remote education and business planning, promotion of the project, technical and economical support of social entrepreneurship, new equipment, development of the union and of its organizational capacity. Our beneficiaries are local farmers, including IDPs, family enterprises that produce poultry and eggs, and the respective micro, medium-sized and small businesses. The indirect beneficiaries are the territorial communities. We expect to have many outcomes, specifically 7. They are all listed here. Involvement of 200 people, of which 50 will be selected for further cooperation, fundraising, and planning trainings. Establishment of the business model of social entrepreneurship in the areas of poultry and fodder production, and development of business models. So these are the key expected outcomes. We hope that when the model starts to be operational, the project will become sustainable, and then other producers and breeders, as well as servicing companies, will join in, and then upscaling of this model with expansion into other areas affected by the war. Here's our team. I've been involved in different agricultural projects since 2005, so I have relevant experience, and we have our regional coordinator, and we have our chief accountant, and we are sure of our success. The project will last 6 months only. We did all proper estimates and calculations, once again on the basis of the already available experience. The budget of the project will exceed 4 million hryvnias. We'll provide 10%. Here you see what the money will go for, directly or indirectly. More detailed information is also available and accessible. Our partners are Association of Private Employers in the city of Kharkiv, BA for Business from Sumy, and Association of Farmers of Kharkiv region. So please support our project because of its very practical nature.
An individual who precisely used the allocated time and not a second more. Let's experience the next presentation from the Institute of Business Education. To presentation to be made by Igor Kobushko. Fair our projects. Avail myself of this opportunity. I would like to thank the organizers. That's that case when, as they say, the first attempt does not fail. These events are only, as they say, for just formal purposes, but this is indeed to be practical. So that's the platform of E and S, that's enterprise and startups. Meaning this acronym means that an organization implemented. This is the Institute of Business Education. Briefly about the experience in this field. In 2018, we organized a project platform E and S that partially was funded by CIPE. We involved trainers. This program was run actively till 2020-22. About 30 received degrees of masters. But they were involved then in SMEs, and each third of them opened their own businesses. In parallel, we organized a center for support of business, which is still functioning. About 200,000 hryvnias were allocated from the local budget for buying equipment, and experts still provide consultations to businessmen. This center is still operating. Representatives of the Institute of Business Education in 2014-2015 were conducting trainings in Kharkiv, Poltava, Uzhgorod, Sumy for IDPs. This program was funded by the International Migration Organization and a variety of other programs where our NGO took part. The goal and philosophy. Someone already told about the fishing rod. Our goal of our program is not to give the fishing rod, but also to develop skills of fishing. Because businessmen have experience but are not able to implement such skills. But if they have the desire but don't have the skills, and the basis, as it was said about Sumy standard meteorologists and by the director who understands the philosophy. And as me, I am the director, and the gem of this project to implement such a project, such a program. Nasta mentioned that we need in some way do lobbying and development of business. We have this skill, we have such experience. We can, on a basis of a state-run enterprise, we can organize the platform for support of SME. That's the goal, to form a new philosophy and scaling of business operations. Main task, main objective, educational and informational work. This will be for IDPs, for combatants, for veterans, those who plan to start their own enterprises, who have reached some critical point in their development and do not know how to widen their business operations. Also, we will carry out consulting operations, because there will be a consultant, accountant in the project to provide such knowledge and skills. And then search for financial resources, how to carry out this. So during trainings, we will help how to correctly shape projects to find funding. A targeted audience, youth, young people, businessmen and also combatants, IDPs, and veterans. Expected results: to have theoretical and practical knowledge required for conducting businesses, and then also support of businessmen, the team of the project. These are not all. It's me. There are also specialists who are certified. They have all experience of running business operations involved in consulting. The time frame is 1 year. Just funds about 2.6 million from grant grantees, grant givers, and 1 million from the participant partners. Sumy Standard Metrology and Sumy State University. Thank you for your attention. So we have two presentations more. The next project is from Union of Entrepreneurs Stina. Now he will present the project. Good afternoon once more. I will briefly to speak about the Union of Entrepreneurs Stina. We're already 16 years in just in our operations. We also work with the SMEs in Venezuela. We have about 120 regular members of our union. We are specializing in advocacy, in public-private partnership, and in the protection of businesses. We see one of the elements of the protection is to recover funding, particular running funds. Well, we have experience in funding projects. In the course of 6 years, we administered 2 projects. The first project is the amount of 8 million grudens. We have provided to 156 grantees without repayment. And we also provided to 148 grantees in Venezuela. In the scope of relocation hub, with support of CIPE, when we were carrying a survey. Results of this survey demonstrated that each second of the enterprise does lack these funds for operations, and this is almost all. Does each of 4 enterprises in Ukraine just short of such funds for circulation funds, and they created a revolver fund, and then we understood the mechanics in what way it functions. Therefore, we see that we can draft documentations or legal documents, and then to replenish this running course, we have some partnership relations with some companies which informed us in advance. Then they said if we find a donor, then they will be ready to provide another half of the amount required. And then information about activities, because this will be a continuous operation. And the fourth, to improve the accessibility to funds. And with the repayment of funds might be a problem. With the revolver fund, it's a craft, they say. That's all money was repaid. There were some delays in repaying, but all this issue was resolved. Our audience, targeted audience, relocated, and local micro, small enterprises in Vinnytsia and Sumy Oblast. We will be working to cover 2 regions. Expected results you see in the plan. The team of the project, we've chosen my former chief executive officer in a bank because she understands what might be the workload for managers, and 2 managers for projects, one in Vinnytsia and one in Sumy. We have already experience in implementing grant-based projects, and we carry out monitoring of these projects because the projects are to be run yet 2 more years, and the accounting of the project of time frame for implementation of project 1 year. If everything runs well, then we plan as founders of the National Platform, small and medium-sized enterprise, to develop services for business creation which like to join funding. 2.8 million hryvnias we plan to attract from donors, and 2 million hryvnias from big companies, and 0.8 million that's the funds for launching. Thank you. It's another our panelist who just is within the time frame. The next presentation.
Our next presentation in from the Association of Entrepreneurs, Odessa. Good afternoon. So our professional association is the organizer of the project. We operate in Odessa, but after the beginning of the war, we had to put aside our business protection activities and to start working as volunteers. In our city, we organized territorial defense of a kind. Our entrepreneurs were patrolling the streets of our city to protect its population. It was a really hard time for our region, and we had to do the patrolling and also to do volunteering to support the military who were defending the city of Mykolaiv. We were also delivering potable water to the city of Mykolaiv. Well, you know very well what was happening there. Now they've got wells in the city, and we also participated in their drilling. Another initiative that we are pursuing right now is about building mobile shelters. This decision was made after bombings of Mykolaiv, when one rocket hit a bus stop. Several people were killed, including children. Right after that, we started raising funds in order to provide mobile shelters of Israeli design. Presently, we are getting back to our principal activities, and we are thinking about a business hub providing consultations to businesses, rendering assistance to entrepreneurs relocating from Kherson and Mykolaiv to Odessa because of regular shellings across the Dnipro River. Nearly all our colleagues with whom we were communicating in the past are now in Odessa, and we just have to help them to enable them to relaunch their businesses. So this initiative is very much needed in order to empower us all. Uh, our colleagues elsewhere have similar initiatives, by the way. Similar proposals are being submitted to the donor community, and it is really important to support such initiatives in every city for systemic assistance to the business community. If a business, especially small businesses, relocated to another city, it should be helped to get in touch with the right people and the local administration to help this business not lose its bearings. And it's a big challenge for small businesses because when big companies are relocated, one phone call is usually enough to resolve all issues. So, dear donors, please help us in the systemic initiative. Glory to Ukraine. Together we shall overcome. Glory to Ukraine. Well, Odessa people know how to save, especially time. Well, I thank all the speakers for the wonderful presentations. Bogdan was monitoring the chats. What were the questions? And please provide the mic to those who raise their hands. I'm Valerik from Kryvyi Rih. My first question is for Alexander Chumak, and the second one for Boris ML Dash. So my first question, Alexander. If you were a representative of a credible international organization supporting business development, would you remain here to listen to the presentation underway now? And my question for Boris is as follows. If these credible international institutions, so professional, so experienced, were working in the conditions with the government of Ukraine and with the legislators of Ukraine, when the tax committee were really interested in the development of business, how much in percent the efficiency of their assistance would increase as compared to the results of their support now? Well, Alexander. I'm sorry for my question, Alexander. Well, I want to avoid a conflict of interests when replying. Well, look here. Never there is such a situation when you have too much money. Within 1 month, I usually talk to 2 or 3 donors. It's either an interview when I try to prove that time is ripe to return and to invest, or we are already at a stage when we decide what projects they are willing to support. We have some initial arrangements with 3 donors. They are not present here. Maybe they were not aware of this forum, and one of these donors is not in Ukraine. And this is how I will answer. I won't add anything. Boris, just I want to make sure that I properly understood what you were driving at. Aha, well, every time a problem appears, and it's a regular problem. It's not about individuals, it's really general. Because it is from the system. It's coming from the system, not from any individual. As soon as we became independent and as soon as small business started developing, right after the collapse of the USSR, the problem that you were hinting at appeared. Businesses started working, and some people appeared who decided to pressure these businesses. So while businesses experience such a burden, working with international donor organizations will be necessary and powerful. And I want to use this chance to thank CIPE. This organization has always been most supportive, and it's exemplary of how cooperation with business associations should unfold. Let me put on my moderator's hat and also respond. I was on both sides. I was not exactly a donor, but I was working for bodies that had their own grant programs. So if I were a representative of a donor, I would be very much interested to hear these presentations. Frankly speaking, I would not support financially all the projects, but it would be very important for me to understand the mentality of business association and their principal ideas and initiatives. If I were a donor, I would also think about training on grant writing, about how to properly apply. Thus, I would measure the average temperature in the ward, quoting the famous joke. If in Ukraine there is no government policy that's business oriented, we'll lose our businesses and we'll lose our state and statehood. The people who are here are in their own informational or mindset bubble because we have some access to some international money and international programs. But there are other businesses who were very much affected by the war and who have lost all their logistics and can't restore it. After the war, we'll also feel very much the consequences of migration. And business people will be the first to migrate out of the country because of all the permanent burdens and problems that can be traced to specific individuals and specific names. I'm very glad that in this strategy it is stipulated that we seek creating Europe's best business environment, maybe even world's best. This is what we have to do, because if uh, businesses don't get registered in Ukraine because of the business climate, because of the conditions for entrepreneurial activities, Ukraine will not be reborn and it will not receive the great funds many dream of. But investments will come after our victory, and I firmly believe in it. And I also want us to win, uh, also in terms of understanding that we need to create the world's best business climate, and that will be the second most important victory after our military victory. And this is something that I wish to everybody. Any further questions or comments?
Other questions or other comments from the audience? Please bring the microphone. Thank you. In While continuing the comments, this essence about the fishing rod and fish, because I was expecting something different from this one. I would say that the fish has died long ago, but it's already not about fishing rods, but we already to go into hunting or just produce nets. I would like to see in my environment same thinkers, partners, both in individuals and legal entities. I am the head of the NGO, the Food Safety of Ukraine, that organization set up by young enthusiasts who are just entirely now, who are all now at the front line. They call me and say, preserve our organization. Of course, it won't be that what we were thinking just for future. But I promise them that ideas are being implemented. But what's this circle of ideas? Self-regulation of economic activities in the markets, different markets. So then it's in the regulation in the food markets, safety of foodstuffs. All are aware. I would participate in 2 projects with Metro, with the Sumer representative, Igor. We have a lot in common. I would like to understand not only about ISO standards, but we have standards that have been already created in Ukraine. Ukrainian national standards associated with these notions, not about the quality but about safety. We're talking about safety of foods, biological safety, chemical safety. These are the markets of chemistry, biocides, chemicals that do not have the control. In times of war and in pandemic, that's the time for control. Therefore, I need partners who have resources. Which resources? That's professional knowledge, readiness to work 24 hours a day. We are located in Kiev, our office is in Kiev, and a talent. How to attract donors. More specifically about ideas, I'll inform in person. It's not only just NGO activities, startups in business, Gilgil. So you have already partners. May I just comment briefly? Fishing rod, husp were mentioned. I was doing business for 15 years in the past, but now I'm the director of the state one. But if all food producers would comply with HASP, the fish would not die. Uh, we have in our city businessmen who know from A to Z how to comply. They do not have any. Everything is okay just with their fishing and hunting. It was said in an abstract way. My request is, so our we have rented this space for several hours. Well, you may stay here, discuss in person, in socialize. Therefore, I should, let me finish, please. Well, to whom these topics are interesting, but I would guarantee your success in business. Another hand in the back rows, please be short and comments, not exceed 1 minute. I will try to comment not longer than. Okay, Angel, my Yudhema go friends NGO. I share my experience in three region where we have 200 IDPs living in two sanatoriums. We have 100 head just cattle. We plowed 16 hectares. On just we feed 500 individuals. Open pizzeria, established 35 jobs, and I believe I heard about these projects. I didn't quite understand what they are all about. Probably the comment to learn how to write grounds, but it, as we understand, it looks different in our ideas. So I think it's a good comment. I think we may just finish our today's event. I would like to remind that presently the plot will be later. We conducted a fair of projects within the project, which called Fair of Projects of Business and Public Association of Entrepreneurs who are members of National Platform of SME. The today's event, as all previous activities, I will remind, projects were prepared, submitted for competitions, a commissioner of aspects, and 10 nominees. The best of the best projects were presented here. This project was supported by CIPE Ukraine, for which we are thankful. It is implemented by the SME National Platform. And I would like to underscore, you are all already members of the SME National Platform. In the audience, we have representatives who are not members of the National Platforms of SME. By the way, the record of this event will be put on YouTube, both in English and in Ukrainian, through the National Platform of SME, and we will be also disseminated nation via Facebook. So it will be able not only to watch this material, but please join the National Platform, because for SME, they should be united as a single fist to stand your interest, to protect your interest. If these rights have some problems with some names, therefore I encourage you to be united. Follow the events in this project. You may use this QR code to know more about the implementation project. We initiated holding online meetings with individual donors where they could inform more profoundly about the tools of support they have. Therefore, I encourage you follow this news as well. And finally, I would like to thank the panelists of this session. I would like to thank donors who have stayed here till the end. Not all donors left. I was observing it with interest. Let's thank them as well by applauding them. And I would like to be also part of voicing those comments that this is not yet the final iteration of such fair. It's the first event of this type. I would like you to thank individuals who participated, Dehan Nasrikun, Bogdan Misunov, and their teams, our technical team to thank, who helped to support it in running. And what else? And I wish us all to have victory as soon as possible. Let us thank guys and girls who are at the front line. Let's thank cities which stay resilient, which remain Ukrainian, that we are proven we are a strong nation. We have also Zaporizhia, that's represent. Let's thank them. Chernigiv, Sumy Oblast, who are shelled every day. Let's remember, there is not only military war frontline, there is also economic frontline. We are to act here as well. I would like to thank you for your participation and see you at next meetings. Thank you.